Hi, Kara.
Hi, Abby.
Hi, everyone that gets to watch this video interview of me interviewing Kara, who is one of our clients in the Balanced Female. I am super excited to have you here today, Kara, and just to have you give a little perspective on your experience in the program, tips for people getting started in weight loss, and just how you've grown through this process. So thanks for making the time to chat today.
Sure, no problem.
Cool. So why don't you tell everybody to start just a little bit about you? Like, who are you? What do you do? Are you in a busy season of life or a calm season of life? Tell us a little bit about you.
All right, so I am a mom to three kids. My oldest is a junior in high school. My youngest is still in fifth grade. My daughter's in the middle. She's in ninth grade. And I am a financial advisor by trade. That's what I do day in, day out, which is nice because it's a pretty flexible job because I am in the busy season of life. My oldest can drive, which is a blessing and a curse, you know how that goes, but my younger two, we do quite a few things, and I feel like I'm running and just kind of on the go anytime between, taking them to school and getting them home at dinner time, and then, in the evening. So live out in the country, kind of on some property, and I'm not a homesteader or anything, but I enjoy some of those little tendencies of just country life. So yeah, that's
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing and giving us a little bit of a view into your life, because I know for so many women, when they're thinking about getting started on a weight loss journey, it's like so much of like, how hard is this going to be to fit into my life and my schedule? Like, do I have the mental and physical space for this? Is this doable? So for you, when you were considering getting started in the program, was that a consideration for you? Were you worried about like, how's this going to fit into my life?
it was yeah, it was huge because I wasn't going to cook special meals just for me that I was going to eat separate. Like I couldn't double my cooking. I couldn't change my meals. Then my family wouldn't eat them. My husband would be like, not touching whatever you just made. Um, and just busyness. I just know, day to day, I eat on the go a lot. Yeah, it was a huge consideration of how I was going to take this time for me, but not take away from anything else that I needed to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, we'll pause there. We'll come back. So why don't you share with everyone just a little bit about what your progress has been over these 12 weeks, and then we'll reflect that back to, how this has fit into your life.
Okay. So I've lost over 30 pounds, a couple pounds over 30. So that, even just looking back at that, it's like, oh my gosh, I did that in 3 months. I know it's a big number. It just didn't feel that big as I was doing it. It felt I was able to just work it in. It was easier than I would have ever dreamed that 30 pounds would have been. Um, I had some digestive issues beforehand, and those have gone away. I can't say specifically which thing took it all away, but I don't deal with that anymore. And I think just self-confidence and feeling good in my own skin, feeling good about what I'm wearing, just that has been a big change that I was at the point before. I mean, I love clothes. I was a buyer in retail for a while before kids, and I love clothes and accessories and things like that. And I didn't love it when I was heavier, and I didn't feel good about me. So yeah, a lot of that has changed for the better.
I'm so thrilled for you that it has, and that you're enjoying those things again. So, looking back to when you started, do you feel like you thought you could have lost 30 pounds in this time?
No, because I I enjoy things like eating out. I enjoy things in food, and no, I didn't. If I lost 30 pounds, I thought I would have eliminated any food things that brought me joy. I figured I'd be exercising like a maniac and just feeling like losing the weight was controlling me, and that's not at all how I felt. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it was in some ways easier than you thought. it was going to be
A lot
to lose
easier.
weight
I
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, you had mentioned too, like you thought I'm going to have to be working out like, you know, a fiend to get this weight
Right,
off and be really
right.
restrictive. Tell everybody, you know, were you working out like a fiend to lose this weight? Is exercise required for weight loss?
No, no, and when you kind of introduced it and brought it in, it was such a gentle, like, it might be time to get moving, but it didn't mean go and do a high intensity class for an hour and just be, drenched and need a second shower of the day, or get up at the crack of dawn because sleep is important. So it was kind of like, no, I mean, I have regularly been walking at least 45 minutes a day, but not all at once. I'll
Mhm.
break, even this morning, I got on the treadmill thing for 10 minutes. I'll get the other 20 minutes in two sections later. But no, it exercise was not essential. It kind of was icing on the cake at the point that I started it, but
Yeah.
not critical for it.
Super, super cool. I love to always bring this point home. And, you know, a learning point for everybody listening is that one of my core beliefs in weight loss is that you absolutely do not have to exercise to lose weight. Exercise is great for our heart health. It's great for our body. It's great for our mind. It's, you know, great for our metabolism too. But oftentimes we start with everything at once, and it makes it way too hard to make sustainable lifestyle changes. And it can really mess with our hormones and our hunger and all of those things. So if we get into that weight loss trajectory first, and then we gently add exercise in that does bring you joy, not something rigid that you have to do, it doesn't it work with your mindset a lot better too? It didn't feel like, you know, I can't lose weight if I can't fit this in, right?
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
the program so gently eases you into these changes that, like you just said, it doesn't feel like you have to do it all at once. You just you do steps, little things. And by the time I was working exercise in, I was happy to work it in. I didn't feel like it was one more thing. I felt like, all right, this is a good thing to start. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So in your busy life and schedule and running kids around and working full time and all those things still, you know, you've been able to fit in not only like what you're doing to lose this weight, but lots of fun still in life too. So why don't you share a little bit about how, you know, I know you touched on this isn't super restrictive, but you know, what was important to you to be able to keep in life?
So I guess being an example to my kids is something, I mean, you know, as a parent that they watch you all the time. They watch so much of what you do. And I wanted to show them that I didn't have to start, eating like a bird and not eating enough. Or for instance, and I know this makes you laugh, but we have cinnamon rolls every Sunday morning. It's just what we do. They're like Pillsbury out of the roll cinnamon rolls. And I still eat one or two of those, and I've still lost weight. We have pizza one night of the week. I can still eat a piece or two of pizza. Now, I don't eat 3 or 4 pieces, but by working the vegetables in with it, my body is still like, all right, we can process this. I'm sure it's not its favorite thing to process, but yeah, I mean, I still go out to eat. I make a smarter choice, but I've learned to enjoy the salad when we go out to eat. And yeah, I want to be the example for my kids that healthy is okay to eat in that way, but you don't have to become obsessive over it. You can still live normally, normally in American terms,
Right.
of the junk that we eat, and still, be healthy.
Yeah, it's so important that we don't create, you know, when we're trying to lose weight, this huge gap between how we actually want to eat and how we eat to lose weight, right? Because then what happens? We do exactly that. We don't eat any cinnamon rolls, any pizza for 12 weeks when those are part of our life rhythms with our
Yeah.
family, and
Yeah.
we lose weight, and then we start eating them again, and then we gain weight because that was the margin we created, was by removing and restricting quote bad foods, right? But in this approach, you were able to keep those in your diet, learn to maybe adjust quantities and things like that, but you never had to say like, no, I can't have that, and make yourself or your children feel like you were like living in a place of dieting or restriction, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Super awesome. Love, love, love that. It's one of my favorite things is when people realize that not one food is what like brought them negative results or positive results, right? All food is good. Sometimes we make poor choices and we have poor mindsets around things, but no food is bad, and you're not bad for eating a food, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think the other thing you pointed out that was so important is like, I used to feel like I'd fall off the wagon, and I would just be like, you know what? I screwed it all up. One day of screwing it all up doesn't change everything. The scale might go up the next day, but you can start right back over. It even a weekend of it, it doesn't have to change the trajectory of what you're going to do. You just reset, you just go back. It's you at the beginning when you would talk about the home base things, I was kind of like, okay, I don't really understand that, but I do now, because again, you just go back to, all right, work the water in, work the veggies in. Like it
Yeah.
was easier than I ever let it be before. I would just kind of let myself get in my own head so much, and this really kept me in a good place and feeling like empowered that I could keep making the changes even after I made bad decisions one day.
I love that so much. And, for those of you listening who don't know what we're talking about, it's one of my core concepts in weight loss and how I coach clients is with this concept of home base. And what home base really means is that we're creating a home base like for you, specific to your body, that are some core habits that you can do daily that never go out of style. It's not super restrictive. It's not hard to achieve. It's just taking literally the pillars of health and life and finding kind of a baseline for you that your body likes and is happy with. So whenever we go kind of off trail, we're out in the outfield of life, eating pizza or cinnamon rolls or going on vacation, we know exactly where to hover back. That's not too hard to do, right? And brings us results and gets us right back into that weight loss trajectory. So it's such an amazing core concept for so many women who come through the program. Love that you shared that. So let's take everyone back, Kara, and maybe you haven't gone back there in a while either, to where you were before you started the program. Obviously over 30 pounds heavier, but how are you feeling? Like, where were you at, like mentally and emotionally, that kind of pushed you to say, like, I want to step into something, I need some help?
I was in a place of low confidence. I was in a place that I didn't want to see myself in pictures, didn't really want to be in the pictures. You can like put your kids in front of you so that you can't really see your own body in the pictures. And just a place where I knew, even snacking wise, I think the program has pointed out to me just how much I snacked, just how much I compulsively would eat through the day. Um, And I guess just kind of being out of control with it. I would have felt like I don't have the willpower to not do these things. And so I think that was just it, was like a place of low confidence in myself, and just knowing that I should be doing better for myself, but not really knowing how to get there in the ways that I'd always gone back to before, the dieting that I never really stuck to for longer than a few days. I knew that wasn't going to work. So yeah, a place of needing something, hoping for a change.
Yeah. So, obviously any of us, when we're not feeling our best in our body, we're lacking confidence, we're lacking direction. We don't know what to do whenever the things that we used to turn to aren't working anymore either. Or we don't feel like they're sustainable enough to stick with for the long haul anyway. So we just yo-yo back and forth, and like restriction, and then like going all out and not caring at all, and not really making good progress. Right. So, for you took a step into like, hey, okay, fine. I'm not going to follow some crazy diet, and I'm going to get some help and step into this, and invest some money to get some coaching. And, why don't you share a little bit about like how you were feeling with the idea of investing in yourself and, spending money to get some help? Were you hesitant of that?
I was, because I thought, of course, what about when I don't stick with this? What about when I pay it and then 3 weeks later I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Um, yeah. So there was the hesitation of just, am I really going to do it?
Yeah.
What was so nice is that you start the program in such easy to handle ways. You didn't throw everything out there at once. It was just, it started slowly, and it kind of naturally eased me into like, okay, this is working. I can do this. And the scale moved even at the beginning where I didn't feel like I was doing that many changes. The
Mhm.
scale still moved. So that was encouraging, I guess. But yeah, there was a big decision of like, am I really going to stick with this and
Yeah.
invest?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know so many women, including myself, and this often is a characteristic of women in general and moms that like we'll spend money on everybody else, but when it comes down to like investing in ourselves, sometimes that is a challenge. It's difficult, and for everybody, different reasons. Whether it's like more money than they want to spend on themselves, they're not used to spending on themselves, or like you mentioned, you didn't know if you'd stick with it. So you didn't want to feel like, hey, I'm wasting money, right?
Right.
So let's go to, you had said like we kind of walked into this. It was like, we didn't push you and throw everything at you at once. We walked into it. How do you feel like today? Do these feel like dieting behaviors still that you're doing, trying to lose weight? Or do you feel like these are core habits that you've kind of adapted in your life that you see how you can lose weight?
They're definitely core habits. And you should come up with a new word, because I kept like coming back to, how do I even address what I've changed? And I would like say my coaching call, or my I just don't want to say dieting, because I don't feel like what I did was dieting. And I feel like there's such a stigma around dieting. And again, I have a daughter, so I don't want her to feel like you have to diet. You can change what you're doing and not diet. The water has become second nature. Like, I carry the goofy cup around all the time. I drink through it quicker than I ever would have expected. And I would have been one that would have said, I hate water. I don't like water. And I I do now. I crave it now. It has become a new habit. Veggies still kind of come back, and they're like, yeah, don't forget. I do enjoy salads at lunch. So that was a habit that at first I'm like, oh, not really what I would go to for lunch, but that's become easy. It's still breakfast and dinner that I'm a little like, well, should there be a veggie in there? Yes, there should. So I'm getting there.
You're getting there. But I think that it gives people a lot of hope, who are starting out. They think like, oh, I have to change everything, or I have to, eat like, I forget, use it like a bird,
A bird.
people always say these things to me, but for you, if you don't mind sharing too, like, I know you were a little worried. You felt like you were kind of picky in the beginning. Like, I don't know if I can eat different things. You didn't really eat vegetables as regularly or like diversely. And so, what do you say to people who are like, can I do this? I'm picky, or I don't have like a really diverse diet, or I don't really like vegetables that much. How did you feel when you were starting?
Again, I think some of it's just pick what you like off of the I remember looking at the list once and I'm like, really? Cucumbers count? Like, I thought they were all just water. Like, I like cucumbers. I can eat those. I mean, there's definitely the vegetables that I go to regularly that aren't hard to find, with cauliflower, cucumbers, carrots, broccoli. Like, I can eat those ones. I recently realized I do like roasted Brussels sprouts,
Oh,
which,
yeah.
yeah.
Proud of
Um,
you.
Asparagus I can handle. It's not a favorite, But yeah, I mean, you just kind of pick what you like at first, and then when you start to get a little bored of it, you might get a little more adventurous and then say, I should try that, try to prepare it a little different way. Um, I the one call someone was saying about not liking reheated vegetables.
Mhm.
And I can say I can go along with that. I don't love reheated, but it's a whole lot easier to prepare a whole tray of them. Just eat the reheated. In my opinion, that's I don't want to have to make it fresh at every meal or I'm not going to do it. So some
Yeah,
of it is just kind of getting in my own head and saying, just reheat the vegetables. It's so much
right.
easier to do that. It's not my favorite way to eat them, but
But I
it's
love what
very
you just shared there because it's a huge tip and takeaway for people, right? Is that like, okay, we don't have to be super restrictive. We don't have to change everything to get results, but like we do have to make some margin and
yeah,
some adjustments to get there. And so like you pick, you choose, and it's your choice. And we get to empower you in that way where it's like when it comes down to vegetables, even like find one that you like, like let's work with
yeah,
that first and
yeah,
then we'll expand, and then even like you were just sharing, like okay, well, I don't love reheated vegetables. Well, would I rather cook vegetables or would I rather just reheat them? And you
yeah,
make a choice, right? It's still your choice. You get to make the choice, but you have to choose something. We can't just keep doing exactly what we were doing and expect a different result, right?
right, right.
So I love how you've shared like how gentle that is and how much control you have over it so that we're instead of, creating like there's already a box that's preformed of exactly what you have to do and we're trying to fit you inside of it. We're like building a box and a plan around like what you like, your personal preferences, your body, what your lifestyle looks like, right?
Yeah,
So that this can be really sustainable for you.
yeah,
Cool. So, two things there. One is talking about like how this has been like gentle as a process. Like, what now? What's next for you? Like, what can people expect that like, okay, you do 90 days of this. Like, now are you like, do you eat a completely different way now on day 91? Or, how are you feeling with kind of like what life looks like from here? Does this feel like we kind of touched on like doesn't feel like a diet because dieting is not ever going to be the answer for anyone. But do you feel empowered that you can keep eating this way because it's really not hard to do?
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think you just summed it up there. I mean, I know at the beginning when we were talking through, well, eat a salad a day. And I kind of said, I'm on the go. I I started this and knew that I wasn't going to make a salad every morning and take it with me. I get a salad out, whether it's at Panera, whether it's at a local restaurant somewhere. Now, through the program, I would get a large salad at Panera and I'd bring it home and I'd eat half of it one day and half of it the next day. I There are choices that you make as you're going through it. I chose that was better for me than trying to conquer the eating a salad that I made, which I wasn't gonna make. Just because I think part of it is knowing yourself, and again, if I stall out here and I'm not losing the additional few pounds that I want to, then I need to start making my own dressing. I need to start making like, I need to make some more changes then. But
Mhm.
this way worked for me, and it was never I was never forced into a different pattern with it. So this is sustainable for me. This is how I go. I usually leave the house when the kids do. I'm running around and this is something that I could continue because now it feels normal. I mean, it never felt out of the ordinary, but
Mhm.
it was making the choice of how was I going to stick with this?
Yeah. I love that you shared that because there's so much like power in choice, right? And doing something that instead of us overhauling, which is the problem with most plans in general for weight loss, is we overhaul everything and we say like these are bad, these are good. And so then when we're outside of that line, like, oh, I had to eat a salad out, that feels like a bad choice, right? Because it felt
Yeah.
like it was off plan. But whenever we, instead of saying what we should and shouldn't do, we actually just look at, is this working for my body? Do I
Yes.
feel good? Is the scale going down? Like that's what we're going to use as our reference point instead of like this is bad or this is a better choice. We've found a rhythm that works for you and your life and your body, and you're getting progress, and it's fine to eat out. That's fine. It's all good, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. Cool. So, the other thing I was going to ask you in that realm was like, what's been your favorite part of the program? What's been most beneficial to you, or your favorite part?
I think just freedom to make it work for me. And it was like you had brought up and brought up the walking mat treadmill thing. Do it while you're checking email in the morning. Do it while you're watching TV, or it, it it's so nice to have the freedom to work it into my life instead of, like you said, changing myself across the board, adding in all these other things that I don't feel like I had minutes or hours in my day to add in. Make it work for me. And just I think my favorite part is, yeah, it's custom to me. I mean, you've walked me through some of the different supplements that might help with my allergies and things like that. I mean, we've talked through so much of what would work for me, and then enabling me to continue this. It's just custom. It's not just a cookie cutter. Here's the plan. Like you said, here are the good foods and the bad foods. Don't eat these, or you could only eat one of these a day. It's what is working for me individually.
Yeah, I love that so much. That's one of my favorite things too. So I'm glad that has been a helpful thing for you for sure. So, kind of the last question here that I had as we wrap up is like, what would you tell somebody who's considering getting started in this program? What would you tell them? Would you tell them, going back to like when you were thinking about getting started and all the fears and hesitations that come up with starting something new, what would you tell people?
That it's so worth it. I wish I would have done it a long time ago. Looking back and thinking how I felt before, it's such a shame. It's such a shame to feel crappy about yourself like that. And it's worth it for you. It's worth it for your relationship with your kids, like the way that you're modeling for your kids. And yeah, you want to do it. It's not hard to start it. It's not gonna it's hard to say it's not going to change your life, because it is going to change your life. Your life isn't going to have to day to day be dramatically different. I mean, when you start drinking the water, you're going to have to find a bathroom for the first week or so in places that you didn't think about. But really, it's something that I shouldn't have kept waiting. I again kept telling myself that it was just going to be another one that I wasn't going to stick with. And I shouldn't have waited as long as I did.
Yeah. So many women wait way too long, thinking that whether all the things that hold us back, whether it's like finances and wanting to invest in ourselves, or it's like time of thinking like, oh, I've got so many other things going on in life in general, it will be too hard to fit this in, or, timing of like vacations and holidays and things like that. But throughout this process, you have learned how like we can eat and live as part of like our life rhythms. We're eating anyways. This doesn't take up more time. It's just learning how to like listen to your body and make some adjustments day to day into what fits into your life and what's working for you. So I'm just so, so, so proud of you, Kara. You've been incredibly coachable, which is why you have the results that you have. I always like to say to everyone, Kara put in work. There's no magic pill. There's no magic one thing that anybody can do to lose weight and make sustainable change. But what this really is important to understand is that like, if you show up, if you are coachable, if you raise your hand when you need help, if you, follow along the path that we've laid out for you here, in the program, you will get results, because this is not a do-it-yourself experience. It is a do-it-with-you experience where we are teaching you things along the way, because education and linking why we're doing something to more than just the scale is so important for lifelong sustainability. So it is learning, it is partnering with you, it's helping you learn in turn how to, kind of do a temp check on your own body. Like, is this working or not? How do I make adjustments to make this work so that you feel empowered for forevermore, is my hope and dream for every client, that you never have to wonder, like, how am I going to lose weight again? Because you understand how to work with your body instead of just looking to the world's like boxed diet programs to be your solution. I'm so proud of you, Kara. Thank you for taking your time to chat with us today. As you know, and our relationship is not over. I am here anytime you need anything, and you are welcome to join us in the Lifelong Wellness Program at any point in time.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Kara. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you want to chat yourself about, how you could join this program, or get more information about your body and what kind of plan or program will be best for you, just comment below, reply to the email, and you can get on my calendar to chat with my team about this program and about a specific plan for your body. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll chat with you soon.